What's up, homies? How we doing today? It's your host, Captain Planet. So, this video is going to be a little bit different as far as not your typical science that's talked about. I want to talk about the science of worry. You know, the science of trauma, if you will. You know, and at first you're probably thinking like, well, what? Well, when we're in school, you know, they teach us about all kinds of things, prepositional phrases in English, to algebraic equations and math. No, but nobody teaches us about the science of worrying. Nobody teaches us about the science of sadness. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by it is we're mammals, guys. Believe it or not, we are mammals. The stuff on our heads is hair. It grows on our bodies too. Fur, you know. We're mammals. Now, mammals, it's in our DNA to worry. Sometimes it's in our DNA to get a little sad. Now, what I'm referring to is, think about it like this as far as an analogy goes. A raccoon can eat 1,000 things that taste good, and he will never remember it. But that same raccoon eats one thing that makes him sick, and he will inherently remember that for the rest of his life. It's how survival works, you know? And not only that, he will actually go write little raccoon Yelp reviews all over the forest and tell his friends about it too. Hey, don't eat that plant. Don't eat that berry. It made me sick, man. Think about that for a little bit. That raccoon can eat 1,000 things that taste good and never remember it. But eats one thing that tastes bad and he'll remember it for the rest of his life. The rest of our mammal friends, unlike us, they worry about 4 things all day, every day. Number 1, trying not to get eaten. Number 2, water. Number 3, food. Number 4, shelter. We are the only mammals on planet Earth that don't worry, for the most part, about any of those 4. At least for the most part in America, you know. There are third world countries out there that definitely know a little bit more about suffering than I do. But what I'm getting at is a lot of us, the ones lucky enough to be watching a YouTube video on an iPhone or a computer, a lot of us don't have to worry about those 4. We don't have to worry about trying not to get eaten, you know, because cannibalism is illegal. We don't worry too much about water because we know when we lift the silver knob in our sink, out comes water. We don't worry too much about food because we go to the refrigerator to get food. God forbid, you know, you got to go to Publix and refill for the refrigerator. Still, it's not that much really true worry going behind that. And number 4, shelter. Most of us, we work jobs that we know pay our rent and we have a sense of security. Trust me, I've not always been there in my life, but I'm fully secure in this 70s trailer house that I'm renting. My point being, guys, is we don't have to worry about any of those 4 things. A lot of us don't. But that doesn't mean that worry just goes away. That inherent worry that we have evolved to have in our DNA as mammals, it's still there. Thing is we choose to fill it with other things. And we choose to spend our life worrying still, just like the other mammals worry. As he's getting a drink, the raccoon's worried about getting eaten by an alligator. Like, life's stressful. And we've figured out how to make our lives not so stressful with our technologies. But we haven't talked about the fact that we still have that inherent worry running through our blood like a running buffalo. You know, so let's talk about that a little bit. You know, now that we know that it's in our DNA to get worried, and we're just focusing on all the wrong things and none of the four things that actually matter. For us humans, for the most part, like other than a couple little places in New Guinea and stuff, like cannibalism's off the table, like everywhere. You know, so really us humans, we only have four things, or three things, not four, because trying not to get eaten is not your typical human worry these days in 2021, thankfully. I'm sure there's still a couple rocking that out in New Guinea, you know, whatever. I respect culture. Don't understand that part. But my point is us humans, all we need is water, food, and sleep, our shelter. And we're still cavemen. Look around, dude. This is a cave. We build our caves now. We build our caves. Like my tripod started leaning. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But we build our own caves instead of dwelling in the caves. But we're still very much cavemen. And we don't worry about the three things that we need to be worried about. And while we've been worrying about things that don't even matter, now we're coming to a time on Earth where we're going to have to worry about those three things again. Because now you can't tell me you don't watch the internet or news and not see things about clean water and worrying about agriculture stuff like not enough real topsoil left, and the phosphorus paradox that we might be running out of phosphorus. And we're going to be worried about food. And when water and food get rocked, you're going to be worried about shelter all over again. Because you can make things more of a free-for-all, right? People get a little upset when they get hungry and thirsty. They're willing to do weird stuff. So, all I'm saying is it's completely normal to be worried. It's completely normal to get sad. It's in our DNA. However, be human enough to know what to do with it, guys. Be human enough to be like, you know what? Captain Planet's been teaching me a lot about science and being in control of my own biological machine that we call this body. Like me, for a man, for example, we produce testosterone. You know, have you ever seen an upset male bison or an upset silverback gorilla? Like, they act as dumb as we do when we're upset. The difference is, the silverback gorilla doesn't even know when he's pissed, but I do. And I can control myself to not lose myself to emotions where I'm going to have even more biological input from chemicals like testosterone that could further affect my mentality and the way I'm perceiving my reality. So consider that for a little bit, guys. Marinate on it. I was watching some Reservation Dogs. It's a really cool kind of Native American comedy on Hulu. It's a buddy on mine, Dallas Goldtooth. He comes up on the horse. I'm William Knifeman. Oh, oh, oh. My horse tripped in a gopher hole. You'd have to watch it to get the laugh, but yeah, marinate on a little bit. Think on that. We have this worry and this pain and this sadness in our DNA. Be smart enough to know what to do with it, guys, because happiness, like I always say, happiness is a conscious choice each and every day. I had a horrible day, very bad banking experiences, but I'm not going to let Chase Bank ruin my day, you know, because each day is a box. You're the one that has to decide if it's a gift or a coffin. I decided about noon that today was a coffin, but it's 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. now, and I'm deciding it was a dang gift. You know what I mean? So you can control that worry. I highly encourage you to marinate on that. See you guys.